February 23rd, 2026. Taurus, this is not an ordinary day. And if this message found you today, it's because something inside your life is already shifting, whether you've admitted it or not. A new beginning is forming, but it doesn't feel clean. It doesn't feel simple. It doesn't feel exciting the way people say new beginnings should. It feels complicated, and that complication is not a coincidence. Today, February 23rd, marks a turning point in your internal foundation. Not a dramatic explosion, not chaos, not destruction, a subtle but undeniable shift. You may wake up feeling slightly unsettled. You may sense that something familiar no longer feels the same. You may even feel resistance, like part of you wants to move forward, and another part wants to hold everything exactly where it is. That inner tension, that's the beginning. Most people misunderstand you, Taurus. They think you resist change because you're stubborn. No, you resist change because you understand value. You understand what it takes to build something stable. You understand the cost of starting over. And on February 23rd, 2026, the universe is placing you at a threshold, not to break what you built, but to test whether it can expand. This new beginning feels complicated because it challenges your sense of security. Maybe it's in love. Maybe it's in career. Maybe it's financial. Maybe it's something deeply personal you haven't spoken about. But today, the energy surrounding you is asking one powerful question. Are you ready to evolve without losing yourself? Because here's the truth. Every new beginning demands a release. And release is never easy for you. You don't let go lightly. You don't detach casually. You don't rebuild without calculating every risk. So when change knocks on your door, your first instinct isn't excitement. It's analysis. It's caution. It's emotional protection. And that is why today feels complicated. But stay with me, because this complication is not here to destabilize you. It is here to strengthen you at a deeper level than you've ever allowed before. By the end of this reading, you will understand exactly what this new beginning is preparing you for. And more importantly, you will understand why it had to feel uncomfortable first, if something already feels different in your life today. February 23rd. Comment below. Now let's uncover what this complicated beginning is truly building inside you. Part 1. The inner resistance. Beneath February 23rd. Now, let's talk about what's really happening beneath the surface today. February 23rd, 2026 is not loud for you, Taurus. It's quiet, and that's exactly why it matters. Because your most defining moments rarely arrive with chaos. They arrive as realizations. You may notice today that something you once tolerated suddenly feels heavier. A routine, a conversation, a responsibility, a dynamic in love or work. Even the expectations you've placed on yourself. Nothing dramatic may have happened, but something feels different. And the complication isn't the opportunity in front of you. It's the resistance inside you. Taurus does not jump impulsively into new chapters. You don't wake up and reinvent your life for excitement. When you change direction, it's because you've thought about it deeply, quietly, strategically. So when February 23rd brings a new beginning into view, part of you may already know it's necessary, and another part of you is still holding the past tightly. That internal negotiation creates tension. You start asking yourself, is this necessary? Is this worth the risk? What if I destabilize everything I built? What if I regret letting go? But here's the deeper truth. When something truly aligns with your evolution, it doesn't feel easy. It feels uncomfortable first. Discomfort is expansion pressing against your old identity. And today the discomfort isn't random. It's signaling growth. You are not afraid of effort. You are not afraid of responsibility. You are not afraid of commitment. But you are cautious with transformation, because transformation means altering foundations, and foundations are sacred to you. You don't build temporary things. You build for permanence. So when a new beginning appears, your instinct is not excitement. It's evaluation. Can this last? Can this sustain me? Can this be trusted? That evaluation process is not weakness. It is wisdom. But here is where February 23rd challenges you. There comes a moment when stability is no longer about protecting what you built. It's about expanding beyond it. And that expansion feels complicated because it asks you to release control over what feels familiar. Here is your life lesson. True stability is not found in keeping everything the same. It is found in becoming strong enough to rebuild when necessary. Read that slowly in your mind, because that is what today is teaching you. You are not being forced into chaos. You are being invited to strengthen your foundation by redefining it. The complication is not a warning sign. It is a growth signal, and growth rarely feels comfortable for someone who values security as deeply as you do. If you've been sensing that something in your life no longer fits, even if you can't fully explain why, that's not confusion. That's awareness. Comment if this resonates with you, because what we're about to explore next goes even deeper. This isn't just about resistance. It's about the fear of losing what you worked so hard to build. And that's where this new beginning truly tests you. Let's step into that next. Part 2. The fear of losing what you built. Now we step into the layer most people never talk about. The real reason this new beginning feels complicated is not the opportunity itself. It's what you believe you might lose. Taurus, you don't build casually. When you commit to something, a relationship, a career path, a financial plan, even a personal identity, you invest time, energy, emotion, and patience. You build slowly, you build intentionally, and once something feels stable, you wrap your sense of security around it. So when February 23rd presents, even the possibility of change, your mind doesn't immediately focus on what you could gain. It focuses on what might shift, what might weaken, what might destabilize. You may be asking yourself today, if I step into this new chapter, will everything I worked for collapse? Will I lose control? Will I regret not staying where it was safe? This is not fear of growth. This is fear of unnecessary risk. And that distinction matters. But here's what makes this moment powerful. The energy of today is not here to destroy your foundation. It is here to reveal whether your foundation is strong enough to expand. There is a difference between losing stability and outgrowing containment. Sometimes what feels like risk is simply your life becoming too large for the structure you built years ago. And that's where things become emotionally complex, because you remember the struggle. You remember how hard it was to get here. You remember the sacrifices. So the idea of shifting direction can feel almost disloyal to your past self. But growth is not betrayal. It is evolution. And evolution does not erase what you built. It builds on top of it. On February 23rd, you may feel unusually reflective. You may think about past versions of yourself, past ambitions, past fears, past compromises. And you might quietly realize that you are no longer that person. That realization alone can feel destabilizing, because identity change is more unsettling than external change. When you redefine who you are, everything attached to that identity begins to shift. And that is why this beginning feels complicated. It is not just about action. It is about identity. Here is your life lesson for this phase. You are not meant to protect every version of yourself forever. You are meant to honor who you were and still allow yourself to become more. Read that carefully. You can respect your past effort without imprisoning yourself inside it. You can appreciate the stability you created without refusing to expand beyond it. And this is where your strength truly reveals itself. Your power has never been in resisting change blindly. Your power is in choosing change deliberately. And when you finally choose not out of pressure, not out of impulse, but out of inner clarity, nothing can shake you. Today is about clarity forming quietly, not a dramatic leap, not a reckless move. A quiet internal decision that says, I am ready. If you've been sensing that something inside you is preparing for expansion, even if you haven't taken action yet, comment if this resonates with you, because what comes next is even deeper. This new beginning is not just testing your stability, it is transforming your emotional core, and that transformation is where real power begins. Let's step into that next. Part 3. The emotional transformation beneath the surface. Now we arrive at the layer most people avoid, because this is not about opportunity. It's about emotional shedding. February 23, 2026 carries an energy of quiet transformation for you. Not destruction, not chaos, but a symbolic ending inside your emotional landscape. There is a version of you that cannot move forward into this new beginning, and that is why it feels complicated. You may not even consciously realize it yet, but something inside you is detaching, perhaps from a belief you once held strongly, perhaps from a person you once gave unlimited patience to, perhaps from a role you once thought defined you. And the reason this detachment feels uncomfortable is simple. You are not someone who releases easily. When you love fully. When you commit deeply. When you build with permanence in mind. So letting go does not feel natural to you. It feels unnatural. But growth sometimes requires emotional pruning. And pruning is not cruelty. It is preparation for stronger growth. On February 23rd, you may notice a subtle emotional clarity. A moment where you see something exactly as it is, not as you hoped it would be, not as you tried to justify it, but as it truly stands. That clarity can feel sobering. It can feel heavy, because once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. And once you see it, you must continue as you were, or step into something different. This is the emotional core of your complicated beginning. It is not about external movement. It is about internal maturity. There is strength in you that has been developing quietly. Strength that does not react impulsively. Strength that observes. Strength that waits. Strength that decides carefully. And that strength is rising now. Here is your life lesson for this phase. Letting go is not losing control. It is choosing self-respect over familiarity. Read that slowly. Sometimes what feels complicated is simply the moment you stop tolerating what no longer aligns with your value. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. And clarity can feel sharp at first, but clarity is power. On this day, February 23rd, your emotional intelligence becomes your compass. You are not meant to chase. You are not meant to force. You are meant to align. If something is meant for you, it will meet you at your level of self-worth. And if something falls away during this process, it was never stable to begin with. You are not losing something solid. You are releasing something that was already cracking beneath the surface. If you've recently felt emotionally distant, reflective, or more selective about who you give your energy to, comment. If this resonates with you, because what comes next shifts from emotion into something even more practical. This new beginning is not just about identity. It is about money security and the tangible world you care deeply about. And that is where the next transformation begins. Let's go there. Part 4. The financial and structural shift. Let's talk about what truly makes this beginning feel complicated for you. It's not just emotional, it's practical. Taurus does not separate dreams from reality. You calculate, you plan, you build, and when a new beginning appears, your first instinct is not, "Is this exciting?" Your first instinct is this sustainable? On February 23rd, 2026, something in your material world may feel like it's shifting. Maybe it's a financial opportunity. Maybe it's a career adjustment. Maybe it's a realization that your current path no longer reflects your true value. This is not instability. This is recalibration. But recalibration feels uncomfortable when you are used to solid ground. You may notice today that your relationship with money, work, or long-term security feels different. Not threatened, different. Perhaps you feel a desire for more. Not greed, expansion. Perhaps you feel tired of settling. Not reckless, ambitious. And this is important, because Taurus does not chase wealth for status. You seek stability, freedom, peace of mind. So if your inner voice is asking for more now, it is not superficial. It is evolution. Here's what's happening beneath the surface. The version of security you once accepted is no longer enough for the person you are becoming. That realization alone can create tension. You might think, should I risk this promotion? Should I start that project? Should I invest more in myself? Should I demand higher compensation? And the complication is not about capability. It's about worth. Deep down, this phase is asking you a single question. Do you truly believe you deserve expansion? Because when you believe you deserve it, you move differently. You negotiate differently. You choose differently. You stop minimizing your value. On February 23rd, subtle opportunities may appear. A conversation, an idea, an offer, a realization. They may not look dramatic, but they carry long-term weight. The key here is not impulse, it is alignment. This is not the time to gamble. It is the time to build strategically at a higher level, and that requires confidence in your own foundation. Here is your life lesson for this phase. Abundance does not begin when money arrives. It begins when you stop underestimating your value. Let that sink in. Many Taurus individuals hold back from expansion, not because they lack skill, but because they underestimate how powerful they already are. You are not meant to remain at the level that once felt good enough. You are meant to grow into what matches your current strength. And that growth may require financial courage, not reckless action, measured courage. On this day, you may feel more aware of your long-term future, more protective of your time, more selective with your investments. That's not fear, that's maturity. If you've recently felt the desire to elevate your financial or professional standards, comment if this resonates with you, because we're about to move into something even more personal. This new beginning doesn't just touch your identity or your security, it touches your heart, and that is where the next layer becomes even more complicated. Let's step into love and vulnerability next. Part 5. Love, vulnerability, and the complication of the heart. Now we step into the part that feels the most complicated. Love. Because for you, Taurus, love is not casual. It is not entertainment. It is not temporary. When you open your heart, you do so with intention. You invest emotionally the same way you invest financially. Slowly, carefully, with long-term vision. And that is why any shift in your romantic world feels destabilizing. On February 23rd, 2026, there may be a subtle emotional turning point. If you are in a relationship, you may feel conversations becoming more honest, more revealing, perhaps even uncomfortable. Not because the bond is breaking, but because it is either evolving or revealing its limitations. You may realize that something must change in order for love to grow. And change in love is never simple for you, because you don't love halfway. You give loyalty, consistency, stability, protection. So if you begin to sense that your emotional needs are shifting, that alone can feel confusing, you may ask yourself, am I asking for too much? Am I expecting too little? Is this relationship expanding with me? And those questions create the complication. If you are single, this day may bring clarity about what you will no longer tolerate. Not out of bitterness, but out of maturity. You are no longer interested in temporary attention. You are interested in depth, substance, reciprocity. And that realization narrows the field, which can feel lonely for a moment. But loneliness born from standards is very different from loneliness born from lack. There is something important happening here. You are becoming more selective, more self-aware, more aligned with your emotional worth. And when that happens, dynamics shift. Some connections strengthen, some quietly dissolve. And both outcomes are necessary. Because the complicated feeling in love is not confusion. It is alignment correcting itself. You are no longer willing to carry emotional weight alone. You are no longer willing to invest in one-sided stability. You are no longer willing to silence your deeper needs. And that shift can feel intimidating, especially if you are used to being the reliable one. But this is growth, not rebellion. Here is your life lesson. For this phase, the right love will not ask you to shrink in order to feel secure. Let that settle in your chest. Security in love does not come from control. It comes from mutual growth. On February 23rd, you may notice that you are less reactive and more observant, less tolerant of inconsistency, more attuned to emotional balance. That is not you becoming distant. It is you becoming discerning. And discernment is power. If you've recently felt your standards rising in love, even if it has complicated things, that is not coincidence. That is self-respect strengthening. Comment if this resonates with you, because now we arrive at the final layer of this transformation. This new beginning is not just about resistance, stability, money, or love. It is about identity, who you are becoming, and that is where everything aligns. Let's step into that final shift. Part 6. The identity shift and the stronger version of you. By now you can feel it. This new beginning was never just about circumstances. It was about identity. February 23rd, 2026 is not asking you to abandon who you are. It is asking you to refine it. There is a quiet confidence forming inside you. Not loud, not dramatic, not impulsive. Steady. And that steadiness is different from the version of you that once held on out of fear. This steadiness comes from clarity. You are beginning to understand that protecting your stability does not mean resisting evolution. It means strengthening your foundation so that it can support something larger. And that realization changes everything. You may notice today that you feel less reactive, less defensive, less concerned about proving yourself. Because when identity solidifies internally, external validation becomes unnecessary. The complicated feeling you sensed earlier, it was the friction between who you were and who you are becoming. And friction always produces heat before it produces strength. You are no longer the version of yourself that tolerated misalignment for the sake of comfort. You are no longer the version that settled for good enough. You are not chasing chaos. You are stepping into authority over your own direction. And authority feels unfamiliar at first because it requires decisive calm. There is a difference between stubbornness and self-assurance. In the past, you may have held your ground out of resistance. Now you hold your ground out of awareness. That is growth. On February 23rd, something inside you stabilizes at a higher level. You are not panicking about change. You are observing it. You are not reacting emotionally. You are assessing strategically. And that shift marks maturity. The new beginning feels complicated because you are upgrading your standards for yourself, for your finances, for your love life, for your future. And upgrading standards always disrupts old patterns. But disruption is not destruction, it is recalibration. Here is your life lesson for this final phase. When you outgrow your old identity, it will feel uncomfortable. But shrinking yourself to stay comfortable costs far more. Let that sink in. You are not meant to remain the same forever. You are meant to evolve deliberately. And when Taurus evolves deliberately, the result is unshakable. This is not a chaotic transformation. It is a controlled expansion. And once you step fully into this version of yourself, there will be no going backward. If you can feel that something inside you has matured recently, even if others haven't noticed yet, that is your confirmation. Comment if this resonates with you. Now let's bring all of this together, because this complicated beginning was never about confusion. It was about power. Let's move into the final message. Conclusion. The complication was the awakening. February 23rd, 2026 was never meant to feel easy. It was meant to feel real. This new beginning felt complicated because it forced you to confront something deeper than circumstance. It asked you to confront yourself, not the version of you that survives, not the version of you that tolerates, not the version of you that holds everything together for everyone else, but the version of you that chooses, and that is powerful. You began this day sensing tension, a quiet discomfort, a subtle shift, an internal negotiation between safety and expansion. But now you understand something different. The complication was not a warning. It was a signal that your standards are rising, a signal that your identity is strengthening, a signal that you are no longer willing to build a life that fits who you used to be. You are becoming more selective, more grounded, more aware of your value. And awareness always disrupts comfort before it creates confidence. You were never losing stability. You were redefining it. You were never risking everything. You were recalibrating towards something greater. That is what February's 23rd marks for you. Not chaos. Authority. Authority over your time. Authority over your heart. Authority over your direction. And once Taurus steps into authority, nothing external can destabilize them again. The new beginning feels complicated only because growth is uncomfortable when you are evolving beyond old limits. But once you move through this threshold, you will not miss the version of you that hesitated. You will not miss the version that tolerated less. You will not miss the version that doubted their expansion, because this new version is stronger, calmer, unshakable. Here is the final life lesson of this journey. Complication is often the doorway to clarity if you are brave enough to walk through it. And you are. If this message found you at the right moment on February 23rd, if something inside you feels more aligned now than it did at the beginning of this eating, comment below and let me know. Your transformation matters. And if you are ready to continue evolving with intention and depth, subscribe and walk this path with me. This is not just a horoscope. This is the refinement of your power. And Taurus, you are just getting started.